Hey, it's Timmy here with you for a relationship tip. I think I got my chair figured out. I had to put a cushion under my under my tush to keep me up, so my chair doesn't keep sinking like it's been doing in other videos. Anyway, good to see you. Thanks for joining me. Quick tip. So I was thinking about this the other day. The importance of self motivation or self encouragement. Some people would call this self-talk. How's your self-talk? Too many times, because I was thinking about this when I was thinking or reflecting on the last couple videos I did about how to not necessarily judge a person, but to know whether someone's a good person or not. And I talked about someone with low self-esteem, how that's difficult because it's that whole idea of a skinny girl or skinny guy thinking they're fat. And it doesn't matter how many times someone else tells them they're beautiful, they're thin or they're not fat or whatever. And they see themselves a certain way. So it doesn't matter what you say to someone, right? When someone thinks they're ugly and you say you're beautiful, they reject it, because they don't see themselves that way. It's the same thing when you say, man, you're just so smart. And they're like, well, I'm dumb. It's like, no, you're actually not dumb. You're smart. You're an intelligent person. But because they see themselves in a certain way, it's like it deflects anything that anyone else says. So when someone's in a partnership and they're in a marriage or in a relationship with somebody, if they constantly need, or if you, let me just talk to you. If you constantly need someone's praises in order to feel good about yourself, that's just unhealthy, right? So my wife compliments me all the time, but I feel good about myself already. Therefore, her compliments are like icing on the cake. Does that make sense? It's so important that you are your number one cheerleader. And this is not prideful. This is not arrogant. This is not self-centered. This is just called having a healthy self-image. Does this make sense? I would please make comments down below. Because when you're in a partnership, especially, I'm talking to those that struggle with this, here's why it's so important. Because your partner shouldn't be the only reason you would feel good about yourself and feel bad about yourself. You need to have a healthy self-image in and of yourself. So you gotta be I have to really watch my self-talk. Sometimes I can be really hard and critical of myself. But also, I've read enough books and just know myself well enough to know I need to be my own cheerleader, and I need to make sure that I feel good about myself, and I'm not dependent on anyone else making me feel good about myself. That's so important. And those of you who maybe are with someone with a bad self-image or bad self-talk, you know how tough it can be, how challenging it can be when you say you're beautiful and they don't think so. When you say you're smart and they don't think so. When you say, they don't see themselves that way because it's their own self-talk. And so we can't be responsible for how someone else feels about themselves. Again, we're talking about self-image. Even when you're in a partnership, there's still this idea of being independent, right? We don't want to be codependent. There needs to be a healthy interdependence with someone, but to be codependent, in other words, whatever they say, whatever they do, totally will, make me feel good or bad. We need to be independent of other people's opinion of us. And that's, to me, I think a really healthy place to be when you feel good about yourself, you talk positive to yourself, you believe in yourself, you encourage yourself, And then when you have a partner who also, encourages you or lifts you up, you're doing great, right? It's just like icing on the cake. I already have a good, healthy self-image. Again, not feeling too great about yourself. And what I mean by that is it's all about not me compared to anyone else. In other words, I'm not better than anyone else. I'm not saying that, hey, I'm anything better than anyone else. It's just a healthy self-image. In fact, there's an old ancient text that talks about comparing ourselves with others is unwise. Because there's always going to be someone, richer, prettier, taller, you can't look at those things like that. That's one of the reasons that social media, Instagram specifically, is wreaking havoc on probably even like adults too. But I heard that there's a lot of studies with teenagers that there's more self-image issues with teenagers these days because of social media like Instagram. There's so many successful, pretty, rich, yada, 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 yada things out there, and you start comparing yourselves to everybody else and it makes you feel bad. So what's my tip? Couple things. One, watch your self-talk. Talk sweetly to yourself. Often we talk better to other people than we do ourselves. Right? It's like everybody makes mistakes. Everybody messes up. Everybody misses the mark in some way. I know that some of us, including myself, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. Okay, maybe a lot. Therefore, when I mess up, it really messes with me because I don't like to make mistakes. I don't like to get things wrong. I'm learning as I get older that, hey, listen, nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. It's just part of life. So don't be so hard on yourself, Timmy, right? So I would say the same thing to you. Don't be so hard on yourself. And even if you make a lot of mistakes, listen, mistakes are lessons to be learned. They're lessons. Anytime we make mistakes, it's an opportunity to learn for the next time, right? And again, nobody is perfect. Everybody F's up from time to time. So be kind to yourself. Just like you're kind to other people, be kind also to yourself. Now, for those of you that are maybe in a relationship with someone who suffers from bad self-image or bad self-talk, just encourage them. Anytime they talk bad about themselves, say something like, "Hey, don't talk to my wife like that, right? Don't talk to my friend like that. Don't talk to yourself like that." I think that's completely appropriate because it's not. Wouldn't you do that if someone punched themselves in the face? You'd be like, "Hey, don't punch yourself. What are you doing?" Same thing, right? For those in a partnership with someone like that, we are part of our role to be in relationship with other people is to give loving, kind feedback, right? I want what is best for those around me. So if I hear them talking bad about themselves, I would in some way try to bring that up to say, "Hey, you're not ugly. Why are you saying that? Don't say you're ugly. You're not ugly." That's literally a lie. Don't say that because everybody's beautiful. That's something I've learned in this life. Everybody's beautiful. Now, granted, you say, "Well, Timmy, I know some ugly people," right? But listen, everybody's beautiful to somebody. That is a fact because looks are so in the mind of the person, right? It just depends. All right, guys, have a great day. Peace.